Hi, this is Jonathan Rosen here, the Jerusalem Psychotherapist. This week's Torah and Psychology post for Chanukah is going to look at the question which is brought by the Beis Halevi based on the Gemara in Shabbos, discussing the sugya of kavsa zokukla or kavsa ein zokukla, which is if the lights of the menorah have gone out, is a person obligated to relight the candles of the menorah? So there's a machlokas in the Gemara in Shabbos, which says whether you do need to relight or don't. In the end, the Gemara paskins and says that we hold like the opinion that you don't need to relight it, kavsa ein zokukla. But the Beis Halevi, the Brisker Rav, is puzzled by this because he presents a seemingly a contradiction with another sugya in the Gemara in Shabbos of a case where someone has a house on the corner. There are two entrances to the house, one entrance leading onto one street, the second entrance leading onto another street. And the Gemara says there's a possibility that a person will pass by on one street, by one entrance where there's no menorah, and will not see on the other street, on the other entrance, that there is a menorah. So because a person could pass by either entrance, because of the complication, you could say, of a chashash, of a suspicion, that the person will think that the house, the person living in the house has not lit the menorah, the Gemara says the person is obligated to light a menorah on both entrances. So therefore, if anyone passes by, whether it's on one street or the other, if this removes the chashash, there's no suspicion that a person will think that the person has not lit a menorah in this house. So the Beis Halevi says, if we're so concerned about this chashash, this suspicion of seeing a house without a menorah, that the person is obligated to light two menorahs by both entrances, then surely there should be a chashash, a suspicion, in the other sugya, where the lights of the menorah go out. Surely there should be a suspicion that someone will see that there are no lights, there's no lit menorah in the person's house. There should be a chashash, therefore, to say if the lights go out, you have to relight the menorah. So why does the Gemara seemingly paskin according to the opinion of kavsa ein zokukla, that the person does not have to relight the menorah? So that's the contradiction in the question of the Beis Halevi. The Brisker Rav, Beis Halevi tries to present a possible solution that if what we're talking about in the case where the lights of the menorah go out is not when they are completely extinguished. If they're completely extinguished, then it's commensurable to the case of two entrances, that there's no obvious sign that the menorah has been lit, and therefore there's a chashash, that someone will think that the menorah has not been lit in this house. If the lights are completely gone out, then yes, we can compare the two cases, and the Beis Halevi suggests that maybe a person should have to relight the menorah. But what the Beis Halevi says is the Gemara in Shabbos, talking about the case where the lights of the menorah go out, of kavsa ein zokukla, is when actually the candles are dim. There's a faint light. So according to the opinion that you don't need to relight the menorah, is saying you've fulfilled your obligation. The lights of the menorah have been lit. So because they are thin, because they are dim, faint lights, that doesn't obligate you to relight the menorah. The other opinion would say that it still needs to be relit to make the light stronger. As an extension of the chiyuv that a person has to light the menorah, you also need to relight it if they are faint and dim lights. But we're saying, according to the Beis Halevi's understanding, that the Gemara holds kavsa ein zokukla. If the light is dim, there's a faint light, you have fulfilled your obligation, and there isn't an obligation based on a chashash to relight the menorah again to make it stronger. What we can take from this explanation of the Beis Halevi, it gives an important psychological message, because we're dealing here with the idea that what the Chanukah menorah lights stand for. We understand that it's a light that is generated externally, but it also represents the internal light of every single person. The obligation to light the menorah also reflects the individual person, and it's very much there's an idea that comes out of a psychological, emotional well-being of making sure that our light, our internal light, is kindled, is firing, and it's burning. And this is especially the message that's inculcated during the week, during this Chag of Chanukah. So if we also can look at this, the lamdos, the explanation, this dealing with the complexity of the Beis Halevi's question, is that here, dafka specifically in this mitzvah of Chanukah, we're so concerned with this idea of chashash, of what other people think. Why are we so concerned about what other people think? Why are we so interested about what other people will think when they see that a person has not lit the menorah? That's a different issue and a different question that goes into it. But what we can say is that from a psychological perspective, this chashash is not a suspicion that we're looking to try and catch people out. We're looking to try and find the weaknesses of people and see like how we can catch them out that they haven't performed their mitzvah. The chashash is, we can say from a psychological perspective, it is actually a concern for other people. It's being empathetic towards other people, being worried about other people. If we see that the menorah is not lit, then there's concern for them. Wait, what's going on? They haven't lit a menorah. Is everything okay? We can take it to a psychological point of looking to see that we're worried about the other person. We're worried about the other person's, you could say, religious well-being. Have they lit the menorah? Not because we're trying to catch them out or we're having a pessimistic, judgmental outlook on other people, but there's a concern and there's an empathy and there's a desire to be connected with other people and to understand that we're there for each other and we're looking out for each other. So in terms of this internal light, we can say that we can take these ideas and put them together, that we want to have a chashash for other people. A chashash meaning concern and being empathetic towards other people, to look and see, has their light been completely extinguished? Are they completely, there's nothing burning, they're in such a difficult situation, in a deep depression or emotional pain, that there is no internal light burning. We need to be looking out for that, and for sure we need to, there's definitely a chashash. We need to be worried and concerned for people if there's no light burning. But even still, the whole question and the conceptualization with the Beis Halevi's question, that we need to get to this point of saying, well, it must be that we're talking about a case where there's a faint light, then we can start to understand that there's a machlokas. Maybe you should relight it, kovsa zokukla, maybe we shouldn't have to relight it, kovsa ein zokukla. There's a bit of a grey area when the light is a faint light, and whether you're obligated to relight it. And so too in a psychological perspective, in terms of the therapeutic, the emotional well-being, if the light is faint, there's still this engagement with the idea of a chashash. We should still be concerned, we should still be looking to check, what does it mean if they have a faint light? If a person is looking like they're a little bit down, are they functioning? Are they okay? Are they able to continue? Is this faint light enough for them at the moment? What is their level of functioning? We should still be concerned with this faint light, that maybe they need help, maybe that they still need extra support to light that their internal fire should be stronger. And this is where we can take it to a psychological perspective. Yes, according to the Gemara, they hold, according to the actual obligation of lighting the menorah, of kavsa ein zokukla. If there's a faint light, you don't have to relight. But from a psychological perspective, and our engagement with this idea of a chashash, is that we need to be concerned. We need to be looking out for other people to check, is their internal well-being, psychological light, completely extinguished? Is it faint? What does it mean? Is it faint? And do they therefore require extra help? Chashash is our obligation to be looking out for other people. I wish you Chanukah Sameach, good Shabbos, and keep well.